We are recording.
You ready to do this?
Oh, I am ready to do this. Should we get down to reality?
Let's get down to reality. Welcome to Down to Reality. We are your hosts. My name is Ro. You might know me as Reality Ops on Instagram and TikTok.
I'm Em. You might know me on social media as Connection Queen, and we are so excited to talk all of the tea with you guys.
We are going to go deep into the shows, but especially we love our Bravo shows and we are hardcore Vanderpump Rules fans. So we will be covering that, I would say, predominantly.
And we'll be covering all things reality TV, but absolutely agree that Vanderpump Rules is what brought us together, I would say. And we're going to be talking about podcasts, the after shows, and even some behind the scenes that we may get.
Yep, we'll have some great guests on that we're really excited to share. And we will do what we do on our social media accounts, but just have a longer platform to do it and get deeper into all of those topics. We try to look at everything with an open mind and really get all sides to the stories.
And at the end of the day, it's all about being understanding or trying to see everything from multiple viewpoints instead of just looking out of one eye.
I think we appreciate every character, even though we might not always like each character all the time. But we really try to go into this with an open-minded and empathetic approach to what these people might be like behind the scenes, might be like in their own reality, and get to know more of the real them, try to figure out who they are at their essence, because we know that these shows edit a ton and there is so much we don't see, and we want to bring everything down to reality with you guys. All right, let's get into it. So at this point, we had the new episode Tuesday night, and we already have clips for the fourth episode of Vanderpump Rules. So we'll recap some of the third episode, and we'll talk about the new clips for the fourth episode, which are really interesting and tie a lot into what we just saw. Like, everything is a big flow, I feel. Although I guess with Vanderpump Rules, it typically really does flow nicely, I think, episode through episode, right?
Yeah, I feel like it's always very smoothly connected. It's almost like a dance between episodes, yeah.
It is, I agree. So the episode that we watched last night, episode 3, we started with Sandoval's party, and Billy was there talking to Sandoval and saying, leave the girls behind, like, move on and do you, which I think is super funny because now Billy is promoting him being with other girls, like, all over her page. But I just thought that was interesting because she was encouraging him to move on from Rachel. And that was the first time we heard Rachel, I think, brought up in the show, not on a confessional. And I don't know about you, but I was pretty surprised to hear her brought up so much.
I was shooketh. I was like, okay, they're really, really pushing, that she did not come back and they are still going to address parts of last season that included her. Yeah. I was shocked by that. Did you see, by the way, there was a image that circulated about that scene when Billy was talking with Tom in the kitchen? The fridge. What was posted on the fridge? Oh my God. Okay.
What?
Now I'm gonna have to go find it.
Oh my God.
Let me look for this and we'll keep talking. And if I can find it in my liked photos, I have to go back and look.
I did not even know you could search liked photos. Are you joking? You could search liked photos?
Yeah, like the photos that I've liked.
Shush. On Instagram?
I swear, yeah.
Stop. You're joking.
I promise. So if you go to your page and then you click the little hamburger.
We're going to probably keep this in, so if people don't know they could do this, and they could do this. And then there's Kyle Richards talking about her separation. Okay. The hamburger on Instagram?
Yeah, like go to your profile.
Oh, yeah, I do. What did you say?
Click under, it says your activity, and it has the things that you've liked, commented, tags that you're in, any sticker responses you have, reviews you've left, your archived.
What? I have account center. Did you go in there first?
Wait. Hold on. You have to get out of settings and privacy.
Oh, well, you told me hit the hamburger.
Hit the hamburger. Oh, wait, this is interesting. When you hit your hamburger, you don't have like a slew of things like setting and privacy, your activity, archive, creator
Oh,
tools.
wait, I did the second time I hit it. Okay, I see it now. So you go to your activity, and then you go
And
to
then you could see like your likes, comments,
Are
tags.
you joking? This would literally save my life so many times.
Yeah, and I'm so mad that now I can't remember who posted it.
Wait, so you're telling me, like, these famous people, when they like things and then after are like, "Oh, shit, I should," they could just go here and do that?
Uh-huh.
That's so crazy.
Well, there was a note on the I'm so bothered right
Can you see
now.
other people's likes?
Oh, no, no, no,
No,
no, no. Yeah, I think it just personalized to your account.
because people find some crazy shit. Like, people will message me, and they'll be like, "I noticed that this
Well,
Vanderpump
like, you
person."
could see on Instagram, like, it'll say, like, "So and so liked this," if that makes sense, but
Okay. Oh my god, it shows all my freaking comments? What
yeah.
the heck?
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
the best. Wow, and it literally has little management things, like,
Wait, I kind of
or
feel cool
filters.
because 'cause I'm always saying how, like, I never know anything about technology, and look, I knew something.
Yeah, I don't know why you say that because you totally know a lot about technology. Okay. Alright, we should focus. This is the epitome of us.
I'm literally going to Peacock right now because I need to I'm not gonna be able to find the post, but it's in the episode. Okay, I'm sending it to you now. Tell me that production did not leave this in here on purpose. I just sent it.
Okay, hold on. Zooming in. Team Ariana. Love Catherine and Cameron. Right behind Billy Lee and Sandoval's
On
conversation.
the fridge in perfect frame, like, come on.
That's hysterical. S So he leaves it on the fridge too. That's what's kind of funny
And, like,
also.
that's the other thing I was thinking, like, that's shared property, right? Because it's a fridge.
Yeah, it is. I'm surprised we don't see like a TS sticker somewhere on that fridge. That's really
Or, like, an
funny.
Every Loves Tom sticker.
And everybody loves Tom sticker. Exactly. That's so funny. Oh my gosh. Okay, so what were we talking about? Come on, what were we saying? Rachel. Oh, and they brought up Nima with Rachel.
Yes, that was very interesting too. I was like, "Okay, they're really going there because that was, like, a whole thing, last season when Sheena was talking about her friend in quotes, I'm putting my fingers up in quotes, and then obviously, if you follow her podcast, Shenanigans, you kind of are able to, a few months ago, piece together that, "Oh, that's the friend that made that comment," you know? And she said she wanted
Yeah.
to clear his name as, her friend, as Sheena's friend, so but still, I thought that I didn't know if that needed to be in the episode or not.
I think it was kind of disrespectful to include in the episode. I think that I almost feel like they're just like throwing daggers at her. And we're not Rachel fans. We both despise what she did and what Sandoval did. Obviously, we should make that clear because if you don't follow us, you might not know that. But we both feel like she's actually made progress through what she's done recently and she's apologetic and all that. So anyway, getting that out there. But I felt like they're really trying to throw her under the bus and she didn't wanna come back. Like, that's how I feel. I don't know if that's a accurate assessment, but that's a little bit the way I feel about it. Like, they're like, "Oh, we're just gonna talk the fuck about you because you're not on here."
Yeah, no, I agree with that, like, I expected them to talk about her here and there, like, kind of like in the capacity of, like, with Lala's scene when she's talking with Lisa about things like that, I expected, but this episode, I just felt like there was a complete different, what's the word? Is it connotation? Would that make sense?
I guess so, yeah. When
You know
referring to her. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah.
was just like, I don't know, the way in which she was spoken about for this episode, it was very different.
Yeah. Well, actually, who brought Rachel up? Was it only Sandoval's house? Now that you say that?
Well, no, because they did bring her up. Lisa and Lala spoke about Rachel at Tomcat.
Right. Right. No, but I'm saying in this episode, who was talking about Rachel? Was it only Sandoval's people?
Y oh, yeah. Yes.
It was,
Right?
right?
Because well
Yes, it was, I
I don't
think.
know actually, because Sheena also but I'm also thinking about stuff from, like, the Vanderpump Rules after show too.
I know it gets a little muddled. By the way, if you don't watch the Vanderpump Rules after show, it is more juicy than the actual episodes.
Wait, I agree. I totally think that we get way more tea and way more, like, raw answers.
Yes.
'Cause it's like,
It's
they're by themselves. They're doing grouped confessionals, either in 2s or 3s, and, of course, they pair the Toms together. That's a recipe for comfort. So when they're having their dialogue, it's just very raw.
right. You know what's interesting? I heard that those that the after show was filmed a couple months ago, but
Wait, like, a couple months ago from today, you mean?
mhm,
So it was
but
filmed then months after season 10 finished.
yeah, oh, definitely,
Okay.
absolutely. It was only within the last couple months. Ariana's hair is her before being on Broadway hair.
Oh, yes. Good point.
Because something that I said, which we talked about on Sheena's first after show, she kind of seemed like she had different feelings towards Ariana than we typically see it from her. And then this last one that they released from
Uh-huh.
last night's episode, something else, right?
Yeah, no, it was definitely that's why I was trying to just clarify the timeline of everything because 'cause I'm trying to gauge, like, at what point are they filming this that Sheena is and also Tom Schwartz even said he had to check Ariana's ego, you know what I mean? So it's like, at what point was this filmed that maybe something was going on at that time where it would
Yes.
have caused those reactions? Because Sheena definitely
Yes.
caught me off guard. Like, I was not expecting her to say that Ariana, she's noticed a trend in her responses, not being as responsive, and she seemed hurt.
Mhm. She was kind of throwing her under the bus, I felt like.
Yeah, yeah. I
And
don't wanna
trying to
say that she was, like, kind of alluding that she's better than them now, but that was the vibe I got from Sheena.
she basically was saying that,
Okay.
yeah.
That was
Absolutely,
the
I agree.
impression that it left me, okay.
Yeah, she was definitely, in my opinion, saying that. So yeah, Ariana's short hair. So they just filmed it not that long ago. My thought
Mm.
about when they filmed it was maybe this was filmed after BravoCon because there was a whole weird thing with Sheena and Ariana at BravoCon, and Ariana wasn't sure what Sheena was doing in that suite, talking to Sandoval, and then Sheena was like, "No, like that's not what happened." And there was definitely a lot of weirdness between them. And I thought, "Oh, maybe it was after that." Sheena's, like, been a little pissed at her, I think because of the way she handled that, and vice versa. They were both, like, a little pissed at each other, it seemed like. But then just a few weeks later, she went to go see Ariana on Broadway opening night. Like, weird, right? I feel like that's
No, I'm,
weird.
like, really thinking about this right now.
And
Saying
I
that.
mean, I guess you can see somebody and whatever, still wanna support them and still have weird feelings about them, but I hope Sheena was saying this up to Ariana, because if she's just saying it
That
on the after show, it's strange. And you know what? I guess we kinda have to say our positions on people because nobody really knows,
yes, that's
but,
important, yeah.
like, Sheena, I do feel like gets way too much shit for being a flip-flopper. I know a lot of people don't like Sheena. I think that's clear. I do love Sheena. I feel like
Yeah.
she's so important to the show, and I will talk about this in another episode, but I also have OCD, and I had debilitating OCD for a period of time, and so I completely relate to her, and I wanna talk about that, and so I understand a lot of her issues actually stem possibly from that, that people don't maybe realize. I'm not blaming most of them on that. I'm just saying there are some things that people might not realize that can explain some of her behavior, but I've been surprised at her lately, and I'm wondering, like, I Ariana, I love Ariana so much, but I'm definitely wondering what is really going on behind the scenes right now.
I know. No, same here, and with Sheena, I am so indifferent in regards to Sheena.
Oh, are
I
you?
feel like I'm a flip-flopper towards Sheena in the sense of, like, I see such great qualities about her, and then in the
Mm,
same breath, I'm like, "Ooh, okay, but I don't like that you just said that," or, like, I don't know, even in that we were just talking about the after show, she literally said about herself that she, has never been a queen bee, and, like, that confused me. I didn't
mhm.
understand why she said that, especially because they were talking about it in regards to Ariana, like, I don't know, she's
Right.
done that a few times, like, she went on Bravo's Hot Mic, and I get that, like, the affair absolutely, I will never take away that Scandoval impacted other people,
Yeah.
1000%, but it's just when I don't know, personally speaking, if I was in that situation and that happened to my friend, I would make any retort highlighted towards my friend, not towards what happened to me. Just to
Mhm.
show, like, that consistent support for that person.
Yeah.
I did make a video about it, though, and you were saying I know a lot of people, like, don't like her, but yeah, in the comments at least, um, it does sway that way. Like, people are very confused as to, like, why she would say she was never the queen bee
Yeah.
because she
You
had, like, that
know
whole season where she had her whole wedding, like, that was really, like, a her season.
yeah, well, she also just recently said last night that she never wanted to be a pop star.
I didn't get that.
Wait, so she said she never wanted to be a pop star. She said she wanted to go more of the Gwen Stefani, Fergie route, which we were laughing out loud. Like, first of all, Gwen Stefani and Fergie are pop
They
stars.
are,
Okay.
thank you, okay, thank you, okay.
Yes, like huge pop stars. And secondly, she has literally said how she wants to be like Britney Spears. And there was another one she used to always say, I don't remember. Somebody listening will absolutely remember, and they're probably like yelling it at their speaker right now. But she would say Britney Spears and someone else that she always wanted to be like. Like, what are you talking about? You've literally said this before. But I guess that's an example. I don't know if it's an example of her being flip flop, but I think Sheena tends to forget some things at times that are important. And I don't know, just uses how she feels in a moment and forgets about a past experience or something like that. But I thought that was so fucking funny when
No,
she's
I
like,
laughed at that
I
too, so
never
I'm
was
glad you brought that up because
and
for me, I was like, "Sheena, that's a double standard because they're pop stars. They're
they're
literally
freaking
pop
pop
stars."
stars. I don't know what she was talking about. And then it's such a diss to nothing against Fergie, but Gwen Stefani especially is like an icon.
I do feel the
Fucking
same way
Gwen
towards Fergie,
Stefani.
though. Like,
What?
Fergie I feel the same way towards Fergie, though.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah, Fergalicious. Are you
Oh yeah,
kidding? My
Fergalicious. Yeah.
lovely lady lumps, like, come on, like, yeah,
Yeah.
she's
Well,
iconic.
I was a huge No Doubt fan though. Are you
Oh,
too young for No
okay,
Doubt?
that's why. I like Gwen Stefani, I wasn't a big No Doubt fan.
Oh my god, I
Okay.
was like fucking love No Doubt. Yeah. So I think for me, I saw her as like this person, like
Also,
she's just huge to me. I
is it
freaking love
safe or
Gwen
fair
Stefani.
to say, like, Gwen Stefani with No Doubt came a little before Fergie's breakout?
Yeah, I don't know when exactly, but yeah,
So
definitely.
maybe that's why too, just because of, like, the wee little age gap that we have, I feel like Fergie was my Gwen.
Oh, that's so interesting.
I don't know though if
That
that's true with, like, when they, had their fame hit.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I can look that
But,
up
like,
later.
even we were talking about Lizzie McGuire. I know it's so off topic, remember? And you were like, "Oh, my sister watched that." And I was like, "That
Yeah.
makes sense."
Yeah, my little sister loved Lizzie McGuire and Kim Possible. All right, let's get
Dun,
back on
dun, dun,
freaking
dun.
topic.
Yes, okay.
So, anyway, what the fuck were we talking
We
about?
were
Why
talk
did
we were
Sheena
talking about just, like, Sheena and stuff, and only because we were saying we should say where our viewpoints are for people in VPR. I think it's clear we're Ariana
Right.
fans.
Okay, yeah, we're definitely huge Ariana fans. But yeah, so Sheena, I'm just interested to seeing where this goes. And I wanted to bring up the preview for next week because
Yes.
it shows Sheena saying to Ariana, and she's like, I'm just feeling a little bit. And by the way, S or SI, trigger warning here, if that's something that's difficult for you to listen to, just, forward this part. And we're not going to talk about too much at all to keep it a little lighter for this episode. But Sheena was saying that Lisa was telling her to talk to Sandoval because he doesn't have anyone. And she said, Lala had people when this thing happened. He doesn't have anyone right now, which, whatever. People feel a very strong certain way about it, and we can talk about that. But I wanted to say, I thought Sheena's response was interesting to Ariana. The way she was telling Ariana, I felt like she was feeling her out. Like, I'm feeling this too. I want to talk to Sandoval. I'm feeling these emotions. When Sheena met in the alley, the back alley of Sir,
Are we
which I
kidding?
friggin' love.
We got an iconic back alley sir conversation.
That was so good.
That was so
Can
good.
they can they just do that like every couple episodes
I wish the
somehow? Like
confessionals
work
could
it
just
in.
be held back there, honestly.
Oh, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. Things need to be back there more. But when she was talking to Sandoval, we were saying this off the pod, but we were saying okay, we were actually saying it on one of our recordings
I
that
was just about to
we're like,
say, can we
there's no
just
point
be
in
real? Like,
let's just be freaking real. We literally have recorded like 300 fucking times. No, like probably like 20 times.
yeah, yeah.
Actually, I just want to take a quick break to give a shout out to the person who made our beautiful artwork for the podcast. Her name is Draw Me Bitch. You can find her on Instagram and TikTok. She also has her website, drawmebitch.com, where she sells amazing, amazing artwork if you are a Bravo lover, especially. She has Scandal coloring books. She has Housewives coloring books. She has magnets, stickers. Go check her out. She's an incredible artist and an incredible person, and we're so thankful for her. We love you, Draw Me Bitch. Thank you for doing this podcast art for us. You are the best. Now back to the podcast. Sheena, when she was with Sandoval, you can tell that she really was looking at him in a moment of, and he was looking at her in a moment of, I hate you, but I also love you. And right now I'm seeing you. And even though I'm so angry at you, I'm looking at you and I remember, like, you're my friend.
Yep.
And I felt that. Did you feel that?
I felt that scene when she, and we don't know if it was on purpose, if it was produced for her to walk by or not, but either way, the moment when they look at each other, that couldn't have been produced. That was real.
That was real. That was real.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like, again, another thing I think we should mention, both of us are, it's safe to say, hypersensitive, super empathetic, and very in tune with like emotions and stuff. So when I watched that scene, I was like, oh my God, I remember when like I was in a situation once where I saw somebody I was once friends with that had very much so upset me, but you just kind of, I feel like you flash back your friendship almost, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I think there was several times throughout the episode that I teared up and times that I didn't want to tear up. And that was one of them when I was
Yep.
like, damn it, why the heck are you tearing up? Like, do not tear up over this. But it just felt like a real moment.
It
You
did.
know,
Yeah, it
even if it
absolutely
was a
did.
setup situation, it felt like a real moment.
Also,
And
only because you brought up the upcoming preview and we're talking about Sandoval in a real moment, the
yeah,
way that my brain works, I'm now going to another thought, which is the crocodile tears thing. And the reason I'm saying this is because, well, I don't know if I should save it or not for when we talk about that, but I think maybe I should. Only because I just think it's so weird that that term is being used so much because Sandoval said it, and then in the preview, Brock says it to Summer.
right. Yeah. I mean, I think that term is used on Bravo very often.
Is it? And am I just like missing that? Because I was like,
No,
what
I
is
mean, I
up
don't
with
think you're
crocodile
missing it.
tears? Why is
Oh,
that
I
being
didn't think it
said?
was like a setup thing. Yeah, no. They say it on Bravo all the time. Like Ramona definitely has crocodile. Like I
Yeah.
think I learned the term crocodile tears in the school of Bravo.
I love it, the School of Bravo.
Like I actually think that's where I learned it. So yeah, I know we can get into a little bit. All right, then we should explain our position on Sandoval. Jeez,
Mhm.
fucking A. All right.
Yeah.
So in my account, for instance, if you follow me from the beginning, I started this March of 2023. So literally when Scandal began, I started it because I did not want to annoy my friends anymore. I'm like, I'm messaging my friends way too much about fucking Vanderpump Rules and they don't care as much as I do. I need to stop annoying them. So I'm like, let me just make a TikTok. So I was just like, I like this name, Reality Ups, because it's my opinion. And I'm going to make a TikTok. And so I made a TikTok and it was like Ariana, Rachel, or Raquel at the time, and Sandoval in the hot tub. And I did an alert sound like, beep, 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 and like it did slow motion to show how he was basically touching her in the hot tub right next to freaking Ariana. And I could not stand, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I still can't stand him most of the time. But I could not stand Sandoval, and I saw the narcissistic part of him that I had related to things I've experienced in my own life. And I made a lot of like silly videos of him dancing and all that shit. But then the summer came and I noticed his demeanor started changing. And I'm like, he looks really down. And this was June, I believe. And I was like, he doesn't look good. And then I just started feeling, man, we've all been like coming really hard
And what did
at
you
him.
notice though about it? Like specifically, what did you notice
Okay.
about him that didn't look good?
Okay. Well, first of all, I wanna say when I say really hard, I never use, like, hate speech. I'm really it's really important to me to not talk like that. I don't feel bullying type tactics, you know?
Let me just say, that was one of the reasons why I started following you because I noticed that you didn't include hate speech, and the way in which you made your content, I respected and could appreciate, and that was, like, a big point of why I was like, "Oh, I wanna follow this creator,"
Oh, thank you. That's good to know.
because I
Yeah.
definitely don't like the hate speech.
Yeah. No, it gets out of hand. Like, you can make fun of things, but not
Exactly,
hate
like, we
them.
can have fun without being toxic.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And especially in the DMs, like, I cannot believe that these people get
I
DMs.
know.
I would never
Ever.
be able to deal with that. I don't know how they do that. But anyway, some of his friends actually follow me and liked my videos, and he reposted a video of me making fun of him. So, it's okay. Like, it's fine, but I did make fun of him quite a bit. And then June came and I noticed his posture was different. His body was hunched over more. It looked like depressed posture.
Right, so, like,
And
body language stuff you noticed
his
changed.
body language, I noticed his face too. He was drinking really hard and then and he stopped when she went in. So I don't know, maybe he just got Botox around that time. But I mean, after that, I thought is when he stopped drinking is when I felt like his face started looking clearer again, but he might have just like stepped out of depression or he might have got Botox. Who the frick knows? Anyway, I just saw his face looked really, you could tell he lost weight. He just looked down. He didn't have that standable peacocking pizzazz that he tends to have that could be super annoying to many of us. And I just started feeling bad. And then I did a deep dive and I'm like, let me try to find out what's really going on with this guy. Maybe like, what are the good parts of him? Is there anything good? And so then I started listening to podcasts and so and I found some with some of his friends talking about him and I was pretty shocked about the things that he was doing for some people behind the scenes that none of us like knew about. Very, very nice inside things that for one, he's paid for people's rent before who have a hard time with money and first come to LA. Like he does nice things that he doesn't advertise. And I was shocked because I thought he advertised everything. But mostly I've been in a really, really dark place and I didn't want to be a part of continuing to have a person feel super dark. And I felt like I should lighten up a little bit more on what I put out there. And I tried to convey that to my followers. And it worked actually, I feel. I think that people couldn't stand him still, but I think that there was more people than messaging me privately and being like, "Oh, I didn't realize that, actually that makes sense, and I agree with you. I hate him as a partner. I can't stand him the way he acts so narcissistically at times, but that doesn't mean he's like an overall bad person and a bad friend. I just don't ever want to be in any sort of relationship with him." Um, and so those are my feelings on him. Now watching the show is hard because like there are parts of him I can't stand. Again, watching him and on the Vile Files, he was just a hot freaking
That
mess.
was I yeah. That one, I have no comment for.
So bad. We should probably do a whole episode on the fucking Vile Files, I feel like.
I feel like
But
we could have our own podcast literally debriefing the Vile Files.
you're so right. It could be like a mini series debriefing that one episode.
Literally.
Like so true. Um, but then yeah, but I struggle between that and also feeling the sadness for him of losing a really good friend, of everyone coming at him, of losing, well, he lost it, but he lost all of the people, all the girls who liked him because of his own doing. I just felt like that must be really hard to know that when you go to a restaurant or to a store, people are looking at you like this D bag. And then I was seeing videos, people would send me behind the scenes videos of him, and there would be a lot of people booing him to his face.
Oh, at the
And
concerts? Yeah, no, they were
no,
serious. Or
no,
what do you
not even
mean?
at the concerts. No, the concerts too, but no, in restaurants in LA, on the street, in Sir, things like that.
Okay,
And he couldn't go
that
to
I did not
restaurants
know.
for a while.
That I
Yeah,
definitely
no,
didn't know. I thought it was just happening at his shows.
no, 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 no. It was like everywhere. It was
Okay,
pretty
that's a little
crazy.
ridiculous. Like, I don't like the guy at all, and even after like Scandal broke, I'm out in Los Angeles. I had seen him out, and like I didn't do anything. You know what I mean? Like that's ridiculous.
Mm,
That I feel like
it's
is a little bit much.
ridiculous. Yeah. I think their point about, like, jumping on and kind of looking at him as he's, like, representing all the people that we're mad at, like, it is a valid point. I did look at him like that. I was like, "You remind me of a person who really hurt me." Um, and I looked at him like that, and it was hard to see past that, but watching the season, it's just interesting. I'm trying to see all the different sides and be open-minded.
No, I mean
What
I'm
about you?
still trying to be open-minded, of course. But in the same breath, it's very, very tricky sometimes because I mean, even that scene between him and Lisa, I felt like the way that he was speaking with her, I was like, I just feel like you're resorting back to that same person, and it's
Mhm.
difficult for me to see the progress that you are claiming you have made. I guess that's my biggest thing.
Yeah.
Sure, yes, some progress has been made, but I'm not seeing it, and I know it was only filmed, like, a few months later, so maybe in this very moment, but then look, the vial file, so I can't even. Do you see how difficult it is for
Oh,
me?
yeah, no, but that's because he started drinking again. Once he stopped drinking, he did better over time, and then he started drinking again, and then he was a disaster again, I feel like. But yes, no, I agree with you.
It's just so, so hard. Like, even in the episode, there was moments
Mhm,
where I was like I was definitely crying, and I was like, "Wow, I do feel for this human." Like, human to human, I feel for
mhm.
you. And then in the next breath, he says something, and I'm just like, "Oh, it canceled out. It got
I
canceled out." It's
know.
like for every good, he says something, and then it cancels out.
I
So,
agree.
yeah.
Wait, you brought up something that I wanted to talk about because it was funny. Hold on, you were saying, oh, no, it wasn't funny. The way he was talking to Lisa, it's not funny, but
Right.
the way he was talking to Lisa, if this guy went to therapy, and when I say therapy, I don't know what he's counting as therapy. Is he going once a week? Is he going once every 2 weeks? Is he going once a month? Because let me tell you, there is a huge difference as from somebody who's gone to plenty of therapy
Same.
and multiple different types, right? There is a huge difference between going to therapy biweekly, weekly, or multiple times a week, and in some cases when you need to, like outpatient or inpatient, right? Multiple times a day. So which is what Rachel did. So if he's telling me he's going to therapy and you're not making enough progress, you either one need to go to therapy more often, or two, you need to go to a different type of therapy
I
or
was gonna
find a
say get a new
different therapist.
therapist.
Get a new therapist because it's not working. And I feel bad for his friends. Kyle Chan, that line was really funny, by the way. And Sir, when he was like, remember Lisa said this is where you bring your mistress. I was like, yeah, totally. That was so accurate, like Rachel and the mistress.
Yes.
But
No, when when Lisa said that, I was like, "Oh, mic drop. Okay."
yeah. And Kyle Chan and Jason Bader, I feel for them trying to and Schwartz even trying to help him to be better, but you could really tell like Kyle especially is trying so hard. I know when I've seen behind the scenes things, he's the one doing like sit downs with him. There's a scene that they're going to show. I know he did with Sandoval and Sheena. And I don't know what happened during that scene. I didn't have any audio from behind the scenes clip, but his friends are trying so hard, but he needs fucking therapy,
I
like
know, but
real
even
therapy.
a
He wouldn't be talking like that if he
1000%.
had it.
That is my whole point. So that's what's so hard for me watching because I'm like, I still don't feel it. It's not hitting. It's not like authentic, you know?
Yeah.
I also just lost a thought that I was gonna say. Oh, okay, wait, hold on.
About
I got it. It connects. It connects. And the other thing for me is, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So I didn't feel like it was fair, right? Like I do think that from the season thus far, we've seen Schwartz definitely has an opinion about his friendship with Sandoval and how Sandoval's behaving. And you can tell he's somewhat standing up to Sandoval and trying to make it a point like, hey, dude, the way you're going about this, it still isn't right. It wasn't right. But I don't feel like it's fair for Lisa Vanderpump to put on Tom Schwartz, you need to help Sandoval change his narrative. That's not fair. Sandoval needs to change his own narrative. Schwartz can be a good supportive friend, But it's not
Yeah.
fair to put all of that on him.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I do. I know you said that before, and at first I was like, well, I agree, but I think Lisa's just trying to get the person who she knows is closest to him. But no, it's true. It's not fair to put on him. And he dealt with so many of his own things, which we didn't realize the extent of um until we saw this episode, I feel, or the last few episodes with Schwartz, like dealing with his brother and his liver, right? And he was in the hospital for that. His other brother has cancer, his dad being sick, losing their business, like, well, losing the business came after, but, like, he dealt with a lot of things at one time, and how much bandwidth can a person actually have
And it's
to
like,
then
I don't know, I just feel Schwartz has always had to be there for Sandoval, and I know Sandoval's
Mhm,
been there for Schwartz, right? But it's like, how can Sandoval be there for Schwartz when Sandoval, is had made the decisions he made and then, was in the boat that he was in? He couldn't be
mhm,
there for Schwartz. So also we have to think about if we're really gonna like analyze, Schwartz also could have some like what's the word? Disappointment maybe in his friendship with Sandoval, layered in the sense of, Tom, I really needed you too, and you couldn't be there for me because of what happened. But
yeah,
I still, at the end of the day, I needed you as my friend during that.
right.
But instead, I had to separate from you because of what happened, you know?
Yeah, like, that's a good question. How much was Sandoval there for Schwartz when Schwartz was going through all that shit? Because guess what? He's screwing Raquel.
That's what I mean, right?
How much was he there for his actual friend when he needed him?
Yeah.
That's a great fucking question, actually. Let's add that to the list of videos we should make. So we're gonna make another TikTok actually for just the pod, and maybe we'll put that there.
Yeah, I
That's a
think that's
great,
a good point.
yeah. I would love to interview Tom Schwartz. Like,
A
I literally would love to just be like, let's sit down and talk about this.
and
Like,
I wanna
sit down
interview
with me.
Tom Sandoval, so
Oh yeah. Oh no. I trust me. I would love to interview Sandoval too, but I think it's more like, well, it's not like either of them are likely, probably, but I just want to, and they have to be separate. Nick Vile should have separated those
I
boys.
wish that he would've. That is something I wanted to say actually before about Viall
Hmm.
Files. I almost wish that when Sandoval arrived, Nick would have said to Schwartz, "All right, thank you for being here. It's go time with him. I want him alone."
Yeah.
His buddy
Oh
can't
my God.
be there to help, support, and conversation, you know?
He did not go in that podcast ready to talk though. He
No,
was,
he
to
didn't.
me, hungover.
Yes.
I know he said he was upset about his friend, and that could have been true. That definitely could have been true. I'm not saying that wasn't true, but it felt like he was drinking all night and he was hung the F over. He was sleeping at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which, okay, it's fine. But you're 41. It's probably time to let go of this behavior. You have a restaurant that you own. I think you should probably be a little more involved since you're now allowed back in there and not be sleeping till freaking 2 p.m.
It also
Anyway.
makes me feel like his priorities that I'm kind of seeing, like, I don't wanna say a consistent line of behaviors with priorities, but it's like he clearly didn't prioritize his relationship with Ariana. He didn't
Mhm.
prioritize his business relationship. He didn't prioritize the Vile file. Do you see with, like, the trend?
Yes. Yes, I see a trend. You're right. He prioritizes himself.
Correct.
And he prioritizes people who look at him as a god, which is so ironic that he called Ariana that, because that's what he likes. He wants people to look at him like the one who has it all and the one who can tell you everything and do everything. And that's what he feeds. That's why he liked Rachel being after him and not after him. I shouldn't say that actually, because when she spoke about it, it sounded very different from what he said. But I mean, that's what he liked, Rachel kind of idolizing him, looking at him on that stage like, oh, Tom. That's what he wants. That's what he feeds off of. And it's so funny when he talks about Ariana getting annoyed at him and be like, Ariana was always annoyed at me. She was always annoyed at this. I'd be fucking annoyed at you
Me too.
too.
Same
I'd be
here.
fucking annoyed at you too. Maybe you're the fucking problem. Maybe you don't need to take 10 fucking hats on vacation, okay?
That
Maybe
part.
you could come home at night and hang out with your girlfriend, your partner was supposed to be your partner for life, and hang out and have dinner together and sit down and watch fucking Love Island
And
or watch
prioritize her interests.
prioritize what she likes. Exactly. Oh, she didn't do anything for me. I made her dumpling lattes. Congratulations. You can make a latte. That's wonderful. What a great partner you are.
Wait, hold
No,
on.
you need to be emotionally protected. I know I'm going off like I did that one time about Sandoval, right?
No, 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 I'm loving it, but it just reminded me when you said, like, "Congratulations, you made a dumpling latte." I don't know if you watched that one, after show where he's like, "I even got, like, stamps, and I, like, learned how to write a letter," and I was like,
Oh,
"Tom, you're
yeah.
41, bro." Like
Oh my god. Speaking of the letter he posted to Victoria on his stories today. What did he say? Will you be
Oh,
my
yes,
Valentine?
also, happy Valentine's Day, guys.
Happy Valentine's Day. Wait, will you be my Valentine? And then I'm going to post it to social media so every single person can see. And I'm going to write like a little boy and do this. And I'm 41. How old is Victoria?
This is what I'm saying, though, like
Sorry. See, it's so hard. Then I get fired up and then I chill. Sometimes in my videos, people will be like, oh, I love when you get spicy. And I'm like,
well, no, yeah, that was totally
try to hold
spicy,
back my
yeah.
spiciness. Like,
But no, I mean, the passion is coming from a place of actual, like, love, believe it or not. It's because you are a loving person. You're like, "Hello, how are you
yeah.
doing this?" Like, see,
I
like,
think I
rub to
messaged
the
him one
right.
time and was like, Tom, you should probably like call me for some advice on what I think I said something like, you should just call me for some fucking advice because what you're doing is not smart. I can't remember what he did, but I was just like, what is wrong with you? Let me help you realize how ridiculous you're being. As if I know everything. I sound like him right now. But
Wait,
I'm just saying, like,
I literally DM'd him one time
did
and
you?
then deleted it for reasons, but, like, I said something similar, okay?
Oh my God. It's
In the
so hard not
capacity yeah, I
to.
said something similar, if you get what I'm saying, but yeah.
Yeah, and I've never done that with any of the other people, but I mean, there's no point in messaging like that. Like, they don't answer. I just did it to be like, dude, do something. Like, you have to like fix the way you're acting because it's like a child. I
Mhm.
think that because we deal with children, though.
Oh, this is a great point you're bringing up that I never thought about. It is very I'm gonna be honest now that you just said that, it is very
Yeah,
difficult for me in my day-to-day when I'm interacting with adults to not observe some childlike behaviors
yeah,
that are, like, maybe unhealed parts of them or, they didn't have the supports or the guidance or the knowledge even sometimes, of how to not behave in that way as an adult. It's very interesting. I mean, even for me speaking personally, there was a lot of self-discoveries I had at the age of like 25, you know?
mm-hmm, for
So,
sure. The interesting thing is in the classroom when somebody says to me, when I get a new class and they'll be like, "Oh, this one has behavioral issues
I
and
hate when
blah blah
people
blah blah
say that.
blah."
That
Oh
drives me
god,
up a wall.
the worst. My goal is always to make that person, that kid, my buddy. So they
Mhm.
come in my classroom and I'm told they have behavioral issues. First day, I'm like, "Can you do me a favor? Can you go get this for me?" Like, I ask them for favors. Guess what? That kid, this makes me like emo. I'm gonna try. I hate how emo I get. That kid ends up being one of the best students. And like you get so like I remember the first time that happened, it was my first year. I remember he brought me, oh my god. He brought me the cutest coffee table book for Christmas. And it was a coffee table book of puppies because he knew I had a puppy and I love my puppy. And he brought me this beautiful, beautiful giant, I've never seen a coffee table book until this coffee table book. And he was like, I know you love puppies, so I got this for you. And I cried, of course. When my students left me my first year, I cried for 2 weeks because
Oh,
I
yeah.
loved them like my babies. Like they were my babies. But um they can change so much. So I think that a lot of us who are teachers kind of have this mentality like you can change. You just
Correct.
need guidance and you like go get help. Go talk to people who can help you get there. But some people don't want to.
Well, that's
And
the
that's
other
something we have
thing
to
too.
understand.
Yeah, so and that's another good point, like, I'm very comfortable with asking for help, and I've noticed not many because that means you're, I guess, being vulnerable to a capacity, right? I noticed
Yeah.
people are not maybe as comfy to do that, but for me personally, with, like, the challenges I faced in my life, I have noticed that it is okay to ask for help, and now in my profession, I help people advocate if they need help, you know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
that is a part of, like, who I am, nature, nurture, all that stuff. Also, thank you for sharing about that student, and, for me, I definitely agree. My, like, navigation path is if somebody says that to me, when somebody's like, "You can't do this," and it kinda makes you wanna do it?
Mhm.
For me, when somebody says, like, "Oh, yeah, this is a behavioral kid," I
Yes.
look at that child as a non-behavioral child. That's my
Yes.
outlook going into it, and like what you said when you're asking them for favors and stuff, instead of, you not building rapport with that student because of their behavioral issues, in quotes, right? You building the rapport actually helps, in my opinion, to decrease their behavioral, in quotes, issues.
Absolutely.
So I
I
love
totally agree.
all of that, and we can go off on many tangents, I feel like, with even this conversation.
Yeah. I'm sure there are so many people listening like, "Stop acting like Tom Sandoval's a child." I'm not. I think he's ridiculous and he should
Oh,
grow up,
yeah,
but I'm
no,
just
yeah,
saying.
no, it was more of, like, the outlook and the way our viewpoints and our flexibility with thinking and our
Yeah.
wanting for better. I always feel like, especially, again, me, personally speaking, every day I wake up, I wanna be better than who I was yesterday. There's always something I can learn in this day, you know?
Yeah. And it doesn't always happen, and that's okay, but that's a good goal, like, to always have.
Exactly, and I guess I want that for others too, so that's what I want for Tom.
Yeah. But and I've also learned in my personal life that there are some people who are not worth doing that for, and that you'll try so many times to make good to I don't mean in the case of him actually, but I mean, like, there are some people who are just toxic and you can't have them in your life, and they shouldn't be part of your life. And I think that's where with Ariana, I'm like, yeah, I get what Lisa's saying, totally. I feel what Lisa's saying, and I think that Tom's, like, real friends should 100% be there with him because nobody should be alone. We're not meant to be alone. However, Ariana should never be made to feel bad about that. She owes him nothing. He effed her over big time. And she made that comment in the pool, and most people feel like I totally get what she was saying. Some people feel like she's being mean.
Wait, what do you mean, what
Um,
comment in the pool?
so she she made the comment that it's a scene for episode 4 that's coming up, which I guess if you're listening to us this, who the heck knows when this is going to come out, but it's a scene that's from episode 4 that's coming up, and they're at James's pool party. I'm trying to remember. Katie, Ariana, and Sheena are in the pool with the cute little something about her float, which I really need to know. Did James and Allie make that float? Because it was a cute float. James, we have a whole other podcast to talk
Yeah.
about some James things and our position on that.
Yes.
But Sheena started telling them how she met with Lisa and how she and Lala met with Lisa and how Lisa was explaining that she feels bad for Sandoval and it reminds her of her brother and how depressed he seemed like her brother was. And I never want to not believe somebody when they say they're that low because it's an awful thing to be, and you should never be like not believed with that. However, I do agree. Ariana was like, "What do they want me to do? Make a post saying like, 'Hi, don't be mean to my ex-boyfriend' or whatever." And I get what she's saying. I think that is what he wanted. I think people wanted her to publicly say like,
Leave him
"Stop bashing
alone?
Tom." Yeah. And she's like, "I'm not gonna fucking do that." And she shouldn't have to fucking do
And I
that.
d
Like
okay, same. Like, she should not have to do that, just like how Tom Schwartz shouldn't have to change Sandoval's narrative. I feel the exact same way about the both.
Yes. You know what? It's up to him. He needs to get his own help. Like, you need people supporting you, but no, like you said, nobody could bring that horse. Is that the saying? Nobody could bring the horse to water. The
Yeah,
horse
like,
has
you
to go
can bring the horse
themselves.
to water, but you can't make it drink. Like, you can't force or
That's
shove
it.
the horse's head into the pond, you know? And, like, the other
Right.
thing is if you have, like, I don't know, I feel like I only want people in my life personally, I only want to surround myself with people who my goals, values, morals are aligned with, and also people who can tell me,
Yeah.
"Hey, you did this and it upset me. Can we talk about it? And can we move forward together after talking about it?" And I
Mhm.
want people to say to me, I don't know, I like for me personally, check me. Please check me because I
Yeah.
I don't wanna be out in this world, like, unaware of things, and if I don't
Mhm.
agree with you, I'll let you know. But 9 out of 10 times when somebody comes to me and says something, I'm like, "Wow, I did not realize that. Thank you for bringing that to my attention." But again, that's me. That's the type of person I am, and it cannot be assumed that everyone will be like that, you know? So it's
You're
like
saying it in reference to who?
in reference to Sandoval. So it's like, you know,
Oh.
when people are like, he needs, like, good supportive friends to like, telling him stuff, I do think his friends did try to get through to
Oh,
him.
for sure.
He's thick-headed.
He's
Is that
thick-headed.
is that the right word? Thick-headed?
Oh, I love thick-headed. That's what we say over here on the East Coast.
Yeah, okay, okay, yeah.
Like a New
I was like,
York
"That was
thing.
right, right?" I was
Yeah,
like, I mean,
he's thick-headed. Like, I don't know. Is that like an East Coast
the New
thing?
Yorker come out,
I
he's a
just feel like it is because I
thick-headed.
don't think I've ever heard it on TV.
But yeah, no, like,
We
he's
also
stubborn,
say they're full
thick-headed.
of crap. Is that like not a normal thing? Because sometimes people will say like, I say full of shit, full of crap. Is that like
Yeah,
not a
I would say full of shit, yeah.
oh, okay. Or full
Or
of
what
it?
about,
Like that's
"Oh,
another
that's malarkey." That's a bunch of
what?
malarkey.
Stop it. Who says that?
No, me, I say that.
Do you say
I
that?
do.
Where
Like,
did you pick that up,
I
Britain?
don't know.
Where were you?
From my 1% from the UK
Is that your 1%?
and the Nigerians, but
It's a
yeah,
bunch of malarkey?
a bunch of
My
malarkey and,
one
like,
friend is like that. She brings up old references. I wish I could remember them all the time, but one of my best friends, she's always saying these weird things, like weird metaphors and shit that I'm like, "Where did you hear that?" It's like from like the late 1800s almost.
you
I'm
know,
like,
I'm
"Where'd you get
definitely
this
big
from?"
into, like, metaphor. I love a good, like, metaphor, and also another one, like, I'm gonna 86 it, I'm gonna throw it out, I'm gonna get rid of it. That's another fun
Yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's a good
But I
one.
said that out here once, and people looked at me like I had snakes coming out of my head, and I was like, "Oh, it means you're gonna, like, throw it out?" And they were like, "Where why?" And I was like,
What is
"Oh,
it? I wonder what that
I
stems
don't
from. I'm gonna
know.
86 it.
I kinda wanna look
Yeah,
it up."
that's interesting. Um, oh, we digress. What were we doing?
Well, we were just talking about, like, it
Pool scene.
yes, it
People
with,
need
like
to chill with Ariana. Like, chill the you need to put
also, that
yourself
was
in her
filmed
shoes.
only a few months after, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
still
get
pissed
how
at
they
my
can be
boyfriend from when I was
confused.
16.
Right. Literally,
He
though,
cheated on
literally.
me. I didn't even like him. I didn't even like him, and he cheated on me, and I'm still upset about it. No, I'm not really, but I'm like, "You're a jerk."
No, but, like, you can still remember it, do you know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah.
this happened
It
3
made me
months
feel like
later.
yeah. No, truly. She,
Her response for me was appropriate.
appropriate. It's not her job. He left the relationship the moment he decided to cheat on her, okay? He left the relationship, and now she does not owe it to him in any way to do anything for him, including giving him that fucking house. I am, like, way on her side with this. I know a lot of people are like, "She should just give up the house." No, they should both give up why does she have to be the one to give you think she's gonna wanna give the house to him? I if my partner was cheating on me with one of my, let's say, good friends, because they weren't best friends apparently, but maybe they were, whatever. One of my good friends for 7 months behind my back, and I was hanging out with them, the three of us, all the time, and had no freaking clue. And he was in love with her, no clue. Do you think I'm gonna move out of my fucking
That's what I'm
house and give the
saying.
house to them to go live their lovely lives together?
Correct.
No.
And that's why, like, I was really happy that Lisa said that to him. When they had that conversation, she was like, "I think the gentlemanly thing to do would be for you to move out." And then he had his
Mm.
whole, like, they had their whole conversation. But I was like, "Oh, wow, I wasn't expecting Lisa to tell him that." I do feel like Lisa totally loves her, Toms, and I was like, "Okay, cool. I'm glad to hear Lisa say that to him."
Yeah.
Like, that's somebody he
I
respects, he, appreciates her insight and input. It's somebody who's been in his life for a long time, kinda like a family person, like a framily,
yeah.
F-R-A-M-I-L-Y, family friend.
Yeah, almost like a mom to him, I guess,
Yeah.
in a way. Another mom, I mean. Yeah, I agree. I think that I now view Lisa differently with all I was never in the whole band camp of I do think Lisa loves the girls. Like Lisa's always loved Katie. Lisa's always loved Sheena. The rest of them, she's had her times and moments with this. She's always loved Ariana, I feel like. But I've been trying to listen to that whole perspective of Lisa doesn't like women. I just didn't feel it. I've never really felt that. I've heard it, but for some reason I've been trying to understand. I just never fully felt it. Recently I was thinking that though, like after the reunion, but hearing her this episode, the last episode, and realizing, oh, this is about her brother. And Lisa, if there's one thing about her, she feels for people when they're down and she doesn't want people to be too low. And then she had, the terrible thing that happened with her brother. And I can imagine being in her position, I would be feeling similarly. And, she also is like a mother to all of them, really. It's too hard for her to turn her back on him. She gave them all chances when they needed them, I feel. The only person that she didn't is Kristen. And people always say, and I always said, why does she have this weird vendetta against Kristen? But I realize it's because Kristen,
That is true, though. She has always had, like, a thing with, like, oh, I wanna say, like, the energy was not the same between her and Kristen.
I think it's because Kristen, and I love Kristen. I love Kristen. But anyway, Kristen never would apologize, rarely would apologize and mean it. And she would never be like submissive to Lisa. And
Good point.
l yeah, Lisa likes people to be a little submissive. I'm not saying it's necessarily in a completely negative way, it's a somewhat negative way, but also Kristen never really, like, would truly apologize, where other people would be, like, upset and down and sad, and you could feel it, where Kristen would just be like, "Oh, fuck it, whatever. If you're not gonna do this, fuck," and, cursing a storm, go suck, all that shit, and not, like, be super remorseful about it, or when she would apologize, she just wouldn't actually seem remorseful. And so I think that's why she always had a thing with Kristen, where the rest of them, if something happened, they would seem pretty darn remorseful. And I think she felt like Kristen didn't appreciate her. And I get that. But I don't think, I'm not sure. I don't have a verdict on this yet, but I'm not sure if she feels better towards the boys than the girls. I mean, I think she loves her girls. She loves her Pandy, her Pandora, and she loves Stassi. I feel like she loves the girls too. I don't
No,
know.
I mean, I'm kind of indifferent about that. Like, I do think she loves the Toms in a different way, but I also do think that she loves her girls. But I
Mhm.
do think that she has different I think that I don't wanna say favor, but yeah, I do feel like she favors the Toms a little bit more.
No, I agree with you, yeah. She does favor them. I don't know why. Probably because of things like Tom Sandoval coming with fucking flowers.
Okay, that's another thing I was thinking too, though.
Oh
Yeah,
god, it was
yes.
so annoying.
Yeah, that was, like, another thing too. Like, I have I don't know if you've noticed, but this is something I've noticed. Episode 1, Sandoval gifts Schwartz a pair of shoes. And then
Yeah.
this episode 3, he brings the
I
flowers
forgot
to
about the shoes,
Lisa,
thank you.
and he makes the drink for Sheena. I'm just noticing little things.
I forgot about the shoes. Yeah, no, you're so right. The Sheena drink was so funny. Like, we're sitting on the couch, and I'm like, "Watch him go bring this fucking drink to Sheena." Like, "This is my, look at what I did for
Yep.
you. Aren't I so nice
And, like,
and
for me,
caring?"
the reason I'm bringing that up is because 'cause I'm like, okay, you love bomb Tom with the shoes, you love bomb Lisa with the flowers, you love bombing Sheena with the drink. It's just yeah, that's how
Yeah. Oh,
I
he's a love bomber, that's for sure.
yeah.
He is. And people were saying Rachel was using love bomb incorrectly. I think in reference to what she was saying, it was slightly not quite hitting right the way she was saying it, but I do think he absolutely love bombed her, and he love bombs everyone. And that's a very, again, that's a typical narcissistic thing to do. And we are not here to diagnose anyone. I'm not going to diagnose anyone. I'm not a doctor. I cannot say he has narcissistic personality disorder, nor do I actually think he has narcissistic personality disorder. But I think he acts narcissistically, and I think he can be narcissistic. And that's a typical narcissist thing to do. You're like buying back affection. You're trying to guilt people. You try to like coax them a certain way.
Like, reel
You're,
them in, yeah.
reel them back in. You F them over. And then you guilt them and you turn the narrative and you spin it so you're now the victim and the other person is actually the one in the wrong. And then you gift them and you show them like some type of love, distorted love, and you reel them back in. And that's why a lot of people are not feeling remorse for him right now, even though we were with this episode, because they're like, this is typical behavior for somebody who's a narcissist. And this is typical Tom. And he also weaponized Ariana's mental health against her. And he
Yeah.
weaponized Rachel's mental health against her. But now
Yeah.
we're feeling bad for him. And, mm, right?
Yeah, the other thing is that I also wanted to say, like, in the same breath that, again, for me personally, like, when I'm looking at something or watching something, I think of myself as a very, like, multidimensional feeler, so in one moment that I can feel remorse for him, again, in another moment, that remorse may not be there, you know?
Yeah. We're still trying to figure him out. It's like watching, like, a, true crime doc, right?
Oh my
That's how I feel. Or,
It
like,
really
watching
is though, but, like, they
it is,
usually
right?
true crime docs are about sociopaths.
Yeah, I know, that's true. Or it's like watching a murder mystery and you're, like, trying to figure out who did it,
The
and you're,
game
like,
of
weighing the
Clue.
different options, and you're like, "No, this person has to have done it because they did this, they did that," and then, "Oh, wait, but maybe I'm reading them wrong. Maybe they're actually a nice person and I'm re" That's what I feel like with him. I'm constantly trying to weigh it, and I have to be honest, when I did the post and I started feeling bad for him, I'm like, I have to be more gentle with my posts, and then I felt better about doing that. But then when I found myself trying to explain him, it sometimes felt icky too. Cause I'm like, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. So I just feel a little icky sometimes because I have not made my mind up on him. And I don't know if I ever will, because I think he's a very confusing person.
I okay, that's the best way to say it. I'm confused because he's confusing. So that's why I'm unable to figure him out, and, like, what you were saying with, like, you know, trying to figure it out, like, it just reminds me of the game of Clue. Have you ever played that
Mm,
game?
I fucking love that game.
I love that game. Okay. I knew you would.
Yeah,
I knew you would.
I
It is
love
so
Clue.
much fun. Are they in the boiler room with the baton, or you know what I mean?
Right.
It's
With
like
the wrench. Yeah.
literally, yeah, thank you. You know what I mean?
I don't know
But
if it was a wrench, but yeah.
it's just like that, and so, yeah, I agree, like, because he is a confusing person, that leaves me confused with my interpretation of him.
Yeah. I have a rule in my personal life that I've kind of discovered and probably for the last decade or so, but if I have to constantly try to figure out if you're a good person or not, or if I like you or not, then I'm not going to waste my time with that energy. And I'm just going to like see you civilly, but I'm not going to actually hold a friendship with
Or,
you.
like, overextend yourself, yeah.
Overextend yourself, right? Because I shouldn't have to wonder that. Like, it should just be clear. You should be clear in a conversation, which we're obviously not super clear in this conversation. We're supposed to recap the episode, and we went on so many tangents, but it's probably totally clear to us. I just hope it's clear to listeners.
I feel like it or at least I hope it will be, but also, like, everything that we have gone on a tangent with, and maybe we've digressed, it has somewhat been connected, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
And,
no, I
like,
think it's
I don't know,
connected.
I
But
also
do you
think,
think
like, we're talking, like, real life stuff too that people can hopefully relate to, and you were just talking about friendships, and, like, I don't wanna have to question it, and I need to feel safe in a friendship. So my
Mhm.
for me, the safety is I'm not questioning, like, I don't have to worry about I need to feel, like, safety in a friendship, and for me, that safety manifests in, like, "Okay, I know I can be myself. I can feel safe to be me."
Yeah. I agree. You need to feel safe to be you. That's super important. Also, I don't know if you want to say this. Let me know if you don't. But we're also two people with ADHD.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
And
that's fine, we can talk about that, yeah.
yeah. And so I'm so fun because I have ADHD and OCD. They work so well together. But my ADHD is not as impeding on my life. However, I definitely have ADHD, and it's just interesting because we both have it. So I feel like we can go off on these convos, and I'm just gonna wait for feedback. We have some really, really kind, amazing, sweet followers who I know will just give me feedback in a nice way, and I'll trust them. So I'm excited to hear like you went off like that was all over the place. You gotta
Well, and that's the
focus your
thing
combos
too.
more.
We're
Or
open to,
yeah,
like,
I got it.
constructive criticism. That's, like, the
We
best way to put
are.
it. Like, yes, please, and that's, again, with the whole, "Help, please." I'm so okay to be like, "Give me your input so I can then analyze it and figure out which way I wanna go," you know?
Yeah, I like to say compassionate criticism, which I
Oh, I
know is
love
maybe a
that.
little yeah, it's a little extreme, I guess, but that's what I like to say in my classroom.
Oh, I love
Um,
that. I might coin that now.
like we
Like, I
just
might
like
use
soften
that.
it. We
Yeah.
just like soften it because people receive criticism better when they feel like it's coming from a
A
place
caring
of
place.
care.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks.
What kind of podcast is this? Like a teaching Vanderpump Rules? Like, I don't even know.
This
We'll
is,
see. We'll see
it's
how
a
it goes.
culmination of, I feel like, who we are, and it's a
We'll
good
we'll down
reflection.
all right, down to reality. This is like
Mhm.
exactly the reality of who we are
Right.
and reality TV.
Yep. And our
Um,
personal life experiences and our own realities connected to reality television, so it works.
it works. I hope
I
it
hope.
works for us. Hey, if we're our only listeners and my husband and your friends, like I'm not, by the way, I don't even tell most of my friends don't even know I do this. I try to stay anonymous because of the teaching, but I know it's a little different with where you're teaching over here. It's like pretty crazy. Anyway, I guess we have to close this and we will just talk more about an episode next time, maybe like we did the last time that got ruined. We'll recap an episode, but is there anything that you want to say now at the end? Oh, we didn't talk about Schwartz trying too hard.
Short trying too hard in what way? What do you mean?
When Schwartz came up to the table at Sir with everybody and he's like, hi guys. Like he's always just like walking in like, hi. And I feel so bad, even though I'm mad at Schwartz and everything he did with Katie. And I hate that, his relationship ended like that when they had such a beautiful thing that I feel like was partly ruined from Sandoval, whatever.
And by the way, we both love Katie, and she is my absolute favorite, but we'll talk about her more in the next episode. But anyway.
Schwartz, when he came up to that table and when he keeps trying with Ariana, just feels so bad. And I get why she doesn't want to talk to him.
That also kind of reflects his like awareness to me in a way. And I'm like, Schwartz, read the room.
Oh, do you feel that way?
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I do. I'm like, read the room just a little bit. Like, I just feel like he's still I feel like he's not approaching them in a way where they can be like, okay, he knows how we feel. I feel like he's trying to just like act normal, like act like how everything was.
Oh, okay. See, I feel like he knows it, and that's why he's like, when it
Oh,
comes up
okay.
to
So
that.
you think that's why it's manifesting and that, like, that's why he's acting that way. Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think he feels so awkward and knows, and that's why he's trying to like. He's literally like, I feel like he's like walking like with like jazz hands out, like his feelers out, like ooh, like what's going on? Like, can I,
I'm literally picturing doing
like he's like, or it's like when you have to go up to when you want to go up to your parent at the end of a night when you're like with your cousins.
Stop.
And you want to ask if you could have a
Yes.
sleepover.
Yes.
And you're like, there's two ways you do it. You either make a dance in the living room and you perform a dance for them to convince them to have the sleepover, to allow you to sleep over. That's the first way. Or the second way is you're like,
the second way?
The second way is you're like planning in your head, or how am I gonna say this? How am I gonna do it? What am I gonna, let
I
me
have
work
a
on,
third
is this the
way.
right moment? They're talking to Uncle Jerry, whatever it is. And then you walk up and you're like, what do you guys think? Can we have a sleepover? And you're rubbing your hands and your face. And like, that's what I get.
And the third way is, or you and your cousin just go up to your room and pretend you're sleeping, so they have to leave you there to sleep.
Oh my God, that is the best way. Yeah, that's a good way. That you're
dances
so right.
though in the living room. That was
Yeah. You borrow their pajamas and you're in their bed already. They can't do anything about it. I love that.
I wonder if it's just like a tri-state East Coast thing, because I wonder if people are going to be able to relate, but I related to that.
Yeah, no, I saw a video a while ago on TikTok where they talk about the dance and I was like, oh, stop, other people did this, but me and all my friends and my cousins, this is like what we would do. I mean, who knows? Maybe they live over here
No,
too.
I mean,
wonder
I
if it is like
I did that too.
Yeah.
I'm guilty.
Oh, I had some good dance moves, real good dance moves.
That was funny.
We thought the dance would convince them.
Yeah. No, literally, like, what were we doing? Like, why did we think that like we were performing in hopes that they would applaud and then say yes?
It's so funny.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Is,
I
looking
still
back.
remember literal dance. Like one time I did one with my little cousin. It was me, my sister, my one little cousin. And we did like a prayer, Madonna. And like, I remember the whole, performance and telling the little one, like where she was going to stand and how she was going to put her arms up. And it was a thing of beauty. It was a good one.
I think the only one I really remember is like the Cheetah Girls dance that I learned.
Oh, Cheetah Girls.
I love, that was like my favorite. I love the Cheetah Girls.
That's Adrian. What's her name? Adrian, one of the girls on there?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. She was just on a show I was watching tonight, actually. Oh, since we cover TV, we can talk The
Yes.
Floor. Apparently, they said this on the show that game shows are considered reality TV. Not that we're gonna talk about game shows, but The Floor is a good family-friendly show. Like, your kids can watch it with you, and they'll get answers right, and sometimes, like, faster than you, and then they feel great, and
It's a
it's not cute,
confidence
it's just a
boost,
good show.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's a
and I
good
love
confidence.
that.
But sometimes we'll watch, like, Lingo, and she's actually really good with Lingo, but Wheel of Fortune is fine, but, like, Jeopardy, like, watching Jeopardy, when I was a kid, I'd be like, "God, I'm stupid, like,
No, me too,
what's wrong? Why don't
me
I know
too.
any of this?
It was
How are
so
these
funny
people so
because
smart?"
I would watch it, and my younger sister, she would get the answers, and I would be like, "Are like, ho I don't get it, like, how do you know how do you know this? Like, it
Mhm.
doesn't make sense," but she was always, like, a bookworm and stuff, and I just think that she's just, like, an older sister, even though I'm the older sister, but yeah, I would agree, I would watch it and be like, "Okay, I wanna watch something else. None of this makes sense."
Do you remember the moment when you're an adult watching Jeopardy and all of a sudden you're like, "Oh my god, why do I know a lot of these answers
Yep,
now."
and I enjoy it, and it's
Yeah.
comforting.
You feel so smart, right?
Yep.
Okay, oh my gosh, back on topic, back to Schwartz. We go really off topic.
But yeah, I feel for Schwartz, but again, I feel for Ariana not wanting to talk to him. However, I do, and the majority when I asked about this poll on my stories, on my Insta stories, which by the way, TikTok should make freaking better polls.
Yes.
But on my Insta stories, I love the polls, and I asked if they think Ariana and Tom are going to be friends again, meaning Tom Schwartz, and I think it was like 70% said no. But I feel like in time they will probably be friendlier again, or she'll be friendlier towards him because I think that the way she was looking at him, did you
I
not feel
know.
that?
Yes. Okay, so
You
hear me
did,
out.
right?
Yes. So it's
Yeah.
so funny you say that because when she said to him, "I gave up on you a long time ago," I was like, "Why don't I
Yes.
believe you? You're saying it, and I feel like you
Yes.
wanna mean it, but you, Ariana, also are a loving person, and I just feel like there is a little part of you that still is holding on to something with him."
Yeah. Or just wanting portray. Yeah. I don't know. I agree. That's what some people are commenting. Oh, she's so angry and she's so mean and blah, blah, blah. Like, you do not know what's going on with her behind closed doors at all. We see her outside, out and about, on the screen, and all of that. We do not see her at home behind that bedroom door. And we don't know how she's really feeling all the time. And I know from watching Ariana on the first few seasons that she likes to have that wall up and show herself like in a harder way. And then when you get to know the heart of her, like we did in season 5, then you see the mush that she is inside because she
Right.
is a sweetheart and such a caring and loving person. But she doesn't portray that as much when she's angry. And right now, I feel like she's in this phase of angry and be angry. Like, that's like her process. Like, this is what she needs to do right now. And I think people are judging her way too harsh. Think about how you would act in this situation. I would be a nasty little bitch.
Oh, yes. Yes, same here. I definitely, that's why I am saying I feel her responses are appropriate because I feel personally, as the empath I am, if I were in her shoes, kudos to you, girl. I would not have handled myself like that. I think the way she's handled herself has been awesome.
I think so too. She has not attacked him publicly. What did we say yesterday? Remember, it was like kind of a big moment.
Well, okay.
And you were like, "Oh," I said the anger with the hurt. I said, "I think her hurt is coming off as anger." Is
Yes.
that what it
And we
was?
were also saying, like, maybe we feel a little bit like, is she taking out some of her anger towards Schwartz in that scene? And it's not necessarily directed to Schwartz. And that's maybe
Mm,
why we're going to see her come around. Maybe, they'll be a little bit more cordial. Because I do
yeah.
think she's kind of taking some of her anger that she has towards Sandoval out on Schwartz because she absolutely will not even, like, breathe or look near Sandoval. So it's like, what is it
Right.
called? Like, he's in within, like, the 6 degrees of separation or what is it called? I don't know what it's called, but it's like, he's close to that camp. So it's like
Yeah.
that connection, yeah.
Right. I agree.
And I think we both agree that what Schwartz did was completely wrong. But just saying, we feel like at some point maybe there'll be some type of amends.
And we talked about her like with talking to Anne, who Anne is, by the way, our MVP. I love Anne.
I love Anne so much.
I just can't wait
Anne
to
is
see
the
more of
goat.
Anne.
Anne is such a goat, and like, you know, it made me a little sad, I'm not gonna lie, when Tom had his birthday party, Sandoval had his birthday party, and he like kind of made the comment like, "Oh, cool, you made it look like a bridal shower or whatever, like the balloons." I was like, she blew them up by mouth, by lung.
Yeah, I know. He's stupid. That was a stupid comment.
Like, but I love Anne. Yeah, she's a real one.
But the way Ariana was talking to her, people were upset about. And I'm like, she wasn't really talking to Anne. She was talking at
Oh, yeah.
Tom through Anne.
Right.
And Anne said on her podcast, which, by the way, if you have not listened to Anne's podcast with Amanda, who was on the Bio Files and is no longer on the Bio Files, it is a really good podcast. It's called We Signed an NDA. It's fantastic. There's no plug here. It's literally just me telling you that it's so good. But she talks about this, and she says that that's the only time Ariana had to talk to her like that. That is not a regular thing. Ariana is so kind to her and nice to her. And we did see that in this last episode too. Freaking poor Anne. I see the beginning of the scene. I'm like, is she washing fucking shot glass behind that sink? Yes, she was cleaning up after his mess. And Katie called, him out really, but said, "Are you cleaning up? Was it you who cleaned up at this whole party?" Like, it's so crazy that clean your own shit. Clean your own shit. Is that what assistants do? Like,
but see, that's the thing too. I don't know, because I feel like the term
hire
assistant
maid
is very arbitrary, and like I feel like it could fall like it's an umbrella term,
Okay.
So it's like, oh, you're my assistant, but like that, I might ask you to do a coffee run. I might ask you to go do my laundry. I might ask you to help me set up a party. Like,
I just thought that was weird. I was like, I could picture him like, "And do you think you can like clean up after this so that like Ariana's not upset?" That's what I picture happening.
Oh, I
Am I
totally-
whispering? I'm doing the whispering thing again, right? I whisper a lot.
for like a second there, maybe you did, but yes, I could also see him going up to her and saying, "Hey, Anne, like totally would appreciate like if you could just like clean up like just literally like everything."
Oh, and like Anne said, she was the one getting the paper towels, the batteries, and the toilet paper, right? Not him, but she was. He was just directing her to get it. That's so funny.
But
I can't wait
onus
to hear more from Anne.
Well, he took that on though, like he was the one getting those things,
Yeah, that's what they do. That's what they do.
That's what they do.
So funny. Okay, anyway, I think that's it. I think that's all, folks.
Ciao. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
No, that was honestly so much fun. I thoroughly enjoy our conversations, especially when it has to do with Vanderpump Rules.
Me too. It's 2:30 in the morning here, and usually I would be so tired, but I got so fired up about Sandoval that like it gave me energy. Maybe I should just do that exercise at the beginning of every podcast that we have to record this late. Just like go off.
Should we just do like a Sandoval rant? That way we could get like, the adrenaline going.
Yeah, seriously, maybe.
Instead of having coffee.
Oh, we should tell people too, nothing to do with Sandoval, but unless he would like to come on here. But we are super excited. We have some guests that are coming on the pod that you will be very interested in. Hopefully they still want to come on the pod after listening. I'm like, just don't worry. You don't have to commit until you hear us and make sure that you're okay with it. But I'm excited about them, and I know people will be too.
I'm so excited. I mean, again, I feel like within the conversations that we have when we're always like, oh, I wonder, about this or that, like our questions, I'm excited to have guests on so that we can just like, I don't know, what's the right word?
Learn?
Like I'm excited to have guests on so that we can learn about like ideas that we've had before ourselves, if that makes sense, but then actually have the conversation, because an idea is so different than the reality, if that makes sense. So I'm so excited.
Yeah, no. And I'm excited. We also then have to see, it's interesting when you have guests on, because depending on who the guest is, but like there are some guests that we'll have on that they're from a certain side, and it's going to be interesting as people doing a podcast and interviewing. I think one thing I want to be really upfront with guests is, just so you know, I am going to be really respectful and fair and listen to what you're saying. But I might not agree with everything you're saying because I don't want to agree with everything a guest says. If I don't, like, I want to be really real and true to what I'm thinking and feeling. And I think that'll land better because listeners would be thinking the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree with that, and I also will let people know, like, "Hey, the way I love to communicate is in this way, and if I don't agree with something, um, I might challenge you with a question, and I'm not doing it to upset you, I'm doing it to understand. Because anytime I ask a question,
Yeah.
I really am asking because it's coming from a place of I just wanna understand."
Excellent point. Yeah. I agree with that. What was that thing you used to say in your lives that was really funny?
Oh,
Something
yes, and that's, like, another thing too, because I do, TikTok lives, and I always say, "Listen, I have an opinion. My opinion, though, is not better, best, or correct, or the right one. I just have one. Let's have a conversation. Let's learn together." And I'm very big
yeah.
into, like, the kindness effect, like, be kind. Science literally research shows there's a ripple effect in kindness, and I actually do that in my everyday, and that's kind of how I like to have a conversation. You could still get a conversation through with
Mhm.
kindness. You
Yeah.
can ask a question like kinda how you were saying before, like compassionate criticism, like, I totally love that because I believe that that can be
Yeah.
done?
All right. We should close this shit.
Ciao.
All right.
Thanks for listening. That was a very fun conversation, and I'm looking forward to future conversations. And remember, last night when we did our 20th recording and I was like, "Oh, I don't wanna say goodbye. I don't like saying bye. I like to say, like, see you in the future."
Right. See you later. And I say
See
see
you
you
later.
later.
Yep, so we'll
Yeah.
do, like, the see you later.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
if
and we should tell people if they want to follow us, the pod is on Instagram as Down to Reality Pod, on TikTok, Down to Reality Pod. And then you can follow our individual accounts also if you want, where we post a lot of shit. And I'm Reality Ops, and M is Connection Queen X. So we did say that in the beginning, but give us a follow, go in our DMs kindly, and give us some feedback and some things that you'd want to hear on the podcast, what you're interested in, what you liked, what you didn't like. Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. We'll put a lot of polls on our stories on our podcast Insta page also, or
and I
you too.
always sign off with, like, a heart, like a hand heart.
Yeah. I'm not good at that. I think that was like before my generation, but I see it all the time and I try to do it because it looks cool. I mean, after my
I love
generation.
you.
I'm doing it to my mic right now.
Okay, me too.
All right. All right. Thank you guys for listening. We'll talk
Bye,
to you
thank you.
soon. Bye.
Later.
Later. Oh, later.
And like the cool kids say, don't forget to like, add, and subscribe. Maybe follow.